your revenue is stuck, or if your revenue has been stagnant and each month you're making roughly the same amount every single month, 7 or 8 years ago, that was happening to me too. And I did this one exercise that broke me through that ceiling and actually added an additional 200K per month to the cash collected that I was making each and every month. And I want to share that one change that I made in this video for you. So there's a concept called effective hourly rate. And this concept is something that I learned from a guy called James Schranko in his book. And essentially, even though we're entrepreneurs, we're not like going to work and getting paid by our boss by the hour, right? But if we were to do an hourly session with a client, we all have like an idea of how much we'd want to be paid for that hour to make it feel like it was worth our time. But even though we're not getting paid per hour, and during the time when our clients aren't paying us by the hour, there is still an effective hourly rate. That's where this concept comes from. And so how it works is you got to take the rough number of hours that you're working every week, and then you have to figure out roughly how much money are you making each week, and you divide the two together and you're left with an effective hourly rate. So if I just like break this down for you, right, if we want to just put some numbers out, so let's say on average, right, you're making, I don't know, let's call it like what, 300 grand a year. Okay, so 300,000 divided by 52, that means that you are making around $5,769, pounds, whatever currency you are, that's how much you're making each and every week. It's like 5.8K if you're making 300K per year. So let's just say it's called 5.8K, okay? And let's just say you are working on a weekly basis, right? 50 hours a week. So what you then do is take, this 5.8K number, right, and divide it by 50, that is your effective hourly rate. So that means even though you're making $5,800 a week, you're only making $116 an hour. And so when you really understand this concept of effective hourly rate, and I would encourage you to actually write this down and figure out really what is honestly your effective hourly rate right now. So let's just say, you're going to the gym and you're listening to podcasts and you're applying to things in between those podcasts, right? That's still on time because your mind isn't able to turn off. You're still on. So be really, really honest with yourself how much you're actually making and how many hours you're actually working to get a real effective hourly rate number. Because then what you do from there, okay, once you've figured that out, is you're able to identify the high leverage activities, the things that actually grow the business. So another mentor of mine, Alex Sharfin, he had me do this exercise, right, where I take the notebook around with me all day, and then every 15 minutes, I write down what I'm doing. This literally, it doesn't take any time. In fact, I was very, very resistant to do this in the beginning, but writing this down, it's called a time study. Writing down what you're doing every 15 minutes, it's very eye-opening because it helps you see that there are many times where you're just scrolling on Slack, like looking for things to reply to, or you're scrolling through TikTok brainlessly, watching videos, right, when you're supposed to be doing something else, or you're just in your email inbox for like 3 hours a day doing who knows what, and then the whole day goes by and you haven't really gotten anything done. And so what you're able to do when you do this time study is you're able to write down all the things that you've done on that daily basis. And I do find that for me, basically, when I was stuck around that 30K a month level, and with clients that I see now, whether it be inside of my accelerator or the inner circle, right, those around that level who are stuck at that point, they are doing a ton of activities that they just shouldn't be, right? Because what you then do is after you've done 1 to 2 weeks of this time study, I like to actually, as I'm doing it on a daily basis, put dollar signs next to the things that generate my business revenue, and also put a plus sign next to the things that gives me energy, and a minus sign next to things that take away my energy. So for example, like replying to my team on Slack, I hate that. That's a lot of minus signs for me, right? Even if maybe I'm reviewing, I don't know, a sales page or something, right? Minus, I don't like it. So I then end up looking, what are the things that I'm doing that give me energy and that make me money? And then everything else, you either turn it into a job description to hire someone, or better, now with AI, right? That is where there is opportunity for AI workflows, to automate things, to turn those things into automated tasks, or delegate that to somebody from your team who can then build out the automations there so that thing isn't bugging you anymore. Because when you list everything that can be systematized, then you have essentially a page full of assets, right? I call them assets, automations that can be built, because then from there, you are focusing on the high ROI activities, the things that make you money. Give me an ROI in the comments if you only want to be doing things that bring in an ROI, okay? And so this is like the basics, okay? Now I want to talk about once you've done that and you're left only doing high leverage activities, because that's obviously a way of approaching everything you're doing, right? But like what I want to talk about next is actually what makes the money. Because obviously I didn't just randomly go from stuck at 30K a month, 230K a month magically out of thin air, okay? That didn't just happen by chance. It didn't happen from me just manifesting to the universe and just randomly it came. No, that's not what happened, okay? Here's what happened. So once you figured out all of the different activities that you shouldn't be doing anymore and you've actually systematized and added automations, you really will be amazed at how little you're doing. Amazed. Like, I always hear people say that they're so busy just working endless hours all day, every day. But I'm like, dude, just look at what you're actually spending time on, automate it. You will not be busy anymore. I'm telling you. Automations and AI are the key to getting your time back. I'm serious about that. Like, this is why with my inner circle, that is what we're focusing on constantly. Like, I have this one guy, Johnny, I won't dox him here, but like, basically Johnny was having a bunch of issues with the client onboarding. They were getting really inconsistent results. Anyways, what we ended up doing was he told me that every new client to onboard it would take him 3 hours, yeah? And so then his team were involved and it was this whole thing. 3 hours for every new client. So can you imagine, like, because he was also involved there, how resistant he was to making sales, because he knew that then every new client that would come in would take him 3 hours. Like 10 new clients equals 30 hours of work, right? That's painful. So what I said to him, I was like, you can literally just take the sales call transcript and the intake form, put that into Notebook LM. You can take the template that essentially you guys are creating for your clients when they first come in, and you can automate that with a workflow inside of make.com. So then instead of you guys having to do all of this manually, what you do is you just take, as I said, the intake form, the sales call transcript, you have a workflow there, which then literally just automates basically building out of the CV, building out of, he has this whole thing for the clients that gets done at the click of a button now, which used to take 3 hours. And it's like, these are the type of things which like is why those who are like, for example, in my inner circle, right, they get such fast results because there's a bunch of stuff that can be automated that business owners don't seem to know that can be automated. But I mean, I've been in the online game now for more than a decade, right? So I really understand automation, the psychology of it, how to think through building out the automations, even though, I don't talk about it a lot. I spend most of my time thinking about this stuff. So I digress. So then once you've got all your time back, right, what you can then start to think through is you can actually start to run the economics behind, well, if this is my price and this is my revenue goal, how many clients do I need to get every month, right? So let's just say you want to make 250K a month and your price is 10K. You just need 25 clients a month. And then from there, it literally comes down to figuring out the right marketing vehicle to bring those clients in. So a lot of people, who again, stuck at that level, what they're thinking is like, how can I make more posts on social media, right? Or like, how can I make my website nicer or something like that? But it's not like that. It's like, here's my goal. I want to make 100K a month, right? Here's my price, 5K, okay? That means you need 20 new clients a month. So then from there, you have to figure out what is the right marketing vehicle to get those clients through the door. And you spend all of your energy and effort there. All of it. So the main thing is shifting from being I dare I say it, but in the beginning, right, you're kind of like a freelancer, not really even a business owner, really still, you really are, because you're doing all this admin, right? You're kind of like, if you don't have an assistant, you are the assistant. So you go from being the assistant or like the jack of all trades of your business to the number one salesperson for your business. The number one salesperson and the person that holds the standards, right? You hold the standard of the client results. You hold the standard of how many leads you'll accept. You hold the standard of the number of clients that you'll bring in, right? You have to increase your standards and what you'll tolerate. Because if you're okay sitting on your laptop for 8 hours a day or then 2 more hours a day on your phone, right? Barely being there present with your family and the ones that you love, then you're not going to get the results that you're ultimately looking for because you're tolerating too little. So when you're really scaling, when you're adding major amounts of cash to your business, profitable cash, not just revenue, but profit, what you need to be doing is you need to be holding the standard. You need to be increasing what you tolerate, okay? Because you get what you tolerate. An example of the fact that you get what you tolerate is if you believe that you shouldn't sign up with a consultant for your business until after you're back from vacation, because you want to go chill on vacation, right? even though, by the way, the business is going to continue running even while you're on vacation, okay? If you believe that that's the truth, then when someone is speaking to you and your company and they're about to go on vacation and they say, I'm going on vacation, so I'll chat to you back again when I'm back from vacation, because you do that, you'll tolerate that. If someone says that to me, like I had a guy say to me, oh yeah, I can't come to the event because I'm going to be traveling at that time. I'm like, look at me right now. I'm traveling too. And I'm running the event, okay? So, of course, I don't tolerate that. I don't accept it. And so, as much as people think that what gets you from that revenue is like some crazy strategy or tactic, no, it's not. It is seeing yourself as the person who's able to make that level of revenue and tolerating that as the standard in which you will actually be willing to accept and tolerate for your life and for your business. Because again, if you don't even know your effective hourly rate, how on earth can you expect to increase it? Like, I'll say that again. If you don't know your effective hourly rate, how can you expect that you can increase it, right? It's really something for you to think about here, because like there's so much, there are so many misconceptions when it comes to this, okay? Now, with that being said, another thing when it comes to tolerating that I have to talk about is, for example, shitty clients, okay? If you feel like you need to make money, you will accept shitty clients. Whereas when you know where the next few clients are coming from, you get to pick and choose who you're going to work with, right? Like, I'll give you a great example. Somebody signed up with me 2 days ago. He jumped on one of the sessions and I immediately knew that they weren't the right fit. So I messaged my team and I said, hey, we need to refund this guy immediately, get him out. And we did. That was a 5-figure sum that we just refunded right then and there. He didn't ask for that, right? Like, you know, he realized why that we made that decision, okay, in the end, but it's like, I could have easily just kept that money. No, but it wasn't the right fit. And so what you get what you tolerate. Like, you need to increase your standards and level on what you'll tolerate. If you're okay, you know, with your family, right, sleeping in like a 2-bedroom apartment, and you think that's okay for your life, then that's the standard that you're gonna keep making that amount of money that allows you to live there, but it's not gonna push you to the next level. Whereas if you are like, I want better for my family. I want to be able to fly on business class. I want to be able to take them to luxury restaurants all the time. I want to be able to pay for trips for my family and friends just because I can. I want to be able to pay for meals when I go out with my friends just because I can, right? If you want to be able to do those things, you increase your standard of what you tolerate. But a lot of you guys who are at 30K a month, 40K a month, 50K a month, 60K a month, right? Even in profit, like, you're tolerating you're tolerating too little or too much, right? Depending on how you look at it. You're tolerating too much crap. You're tolerating too little of the luxuries in life, or even just the things that make you feel good and that you make you feel proud. Maybe you're tolerating doing mediocre work rather than world-class work that's going to change a lot of people's lives, right? So anyways, I shared this with you today because I want you to increase your standards. I want you to first get real, as I said, calculate your effective hourly rate. Once you've done that, automate, eliminate, delegate, right? If you need any help with that, you can reach out to me and let me know that you saw this video and that you are interested in talking with me and my team to see how we can help you automate what you're up to and, of course, generate significantly more leads with social media. From there, though, it comes down to you. You've got to increase what you'll tolerate. You have to. That's going to be the thing that gets you to the next level. You have to be so hungry and want it so bad so that every time you see that 30K a month, 50K a month, whatever number it is for you coming in, you are disgusted with it. When I was interviewing Grant Cardone, he said to me, this is what, like in 2018 or something, he said to me, like, you need to be disgusted with where you're at right now. And I was very successful back then. But he said that to me and I only now realized what he meant. He was talking about you must increase the level of what you'll tolerate. So I'll leave that with you here today, okay? Going to be sharing a bunch of good stuff, tactics over the next days and weeks. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure you're following. And any questions, just hit me up below. And I'm grateful to serve. Thank you so much. I'm Lauren Tickner, and I'll see you in the next one.